Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Swift Community Live broadcast of the WTRL team time trial number 151. We're out on the flat route for 3 laps. I'm Nathan Guerra. Dave Towle is next to me, and we are going to be doing 30.6. Well, I'm not going to be doing, but the teams out here today are going to be doing 30.6 kilometers of all-out team time trial, suffering to try and get the best times in the world across too many zones for me to count anymore. I think it's about 13 at this point. Platinum League right now, the best of the best, Dave, are taking on the course in front of us on camera, men's and women's racing. And this is pure team time trialing. I think flat route, you're hitting not a whole lot of climbs out there. And, well, there's a couple of bumps on course, which make it interesting, keep it a little bit interesting, but there's no major climbs whatsoever.
180 meters of total climbing. So it really, you're exactly right. It's this is a purist course for sure. This is my kind of course, to tell you the truth. I mean, this is I've talked about it. I mean, 151. Congratulations again to Martin and Steven and what's going on at WTRL, including our stingers, man. When we open up the broadcast, Nathan, I feel like I'm in a Dolby surround sound theater now. It's impressive. So thanks
Elaine
to everybody in the
Montoya,
community.
Elaine Montoya,
Yeah,
big shout
Elaine's
out. Big shout
she's
out,
a
as
real
well as
pro.
the Owls team that show up just about every single week, and pretty amazing job. Just wanted to make sure that that's put out there for that. That they
Yeah,
make sure they
Elaine
show up on
must.
time with them.
Yeah, she works at a high level for sure. I don't know who she works for or herself, but obviously extreme level of professionalism there. So thanks, Elaine, and good luck today, because today it's going to come down to precision, isn't it? I mean, the power is going to be a pretty steady application. Not too much going to be thrown at you out there. No surprises, but keeping your team organized and working efficiently and smoothly, really the essence of team time trialing, to tell you the truth. So Watopia flat route, as Nathan said, I think it's 19 different zones now. If I remember correctly, there was some expansion that happened. Yeah, it's pretty incredible. And I've learned from our Sisu friends and Matt, who I hope that I see their new kit today. I'm not sure if we will or not, all that anticipation, but zone 11, I believe, is wrapping up at the same time as we're finishing Platinum League. So at that point, then you're more than halfway through the day of racing, and you'll have worked your way through most of the Europeans that participate. So it's a big day of racing every day. I don't know exactly where we're at right now, but typically we'll have over 1,000 teams, over 6,000 racers. The teams are made up to 8 finishing time taken off of the 4th rider across the line, and that's the name of the game, Nathan, is figuring out the fastest way to move as a unit there, but not blow the team up.
I think you make a really good point there, Dave, about precision today. Because of the flat nature of this course, the differences in times, yes, it's going to be hugely about, what just pure power that you have to give to the team. But those little mistakes out there today, or the little roll throughs that people pull off through the SEs, through the sections on the downhills where you can gain a ton of speed, those who have a little extra to give over those little bumps at throwing down some orange numbers or well over FTP, and then keep it all together and roll through with speed. Precision at those moments, keeping things together at those moments, and everybody kind of just being adaptable to whatever kind of comes at them within their routine. And if there's a good DS out there today, because I really do think you're spot on, it's going to come down to really finessing the team time trial tactics that are in this game.
I think in our more competitive categories, Nathan, you're going to see situations with 2 or 3 teams within 10 seconds of each other. It's going to be that close out here. And exactly, I certainly would reemphasize what you said here. Teams had better bring their A game. And those, the hacks, it's not even a hack, is it? Pro tip would be a better term for what you're talking about, is every now and then, there's a half second to be gained if a rider's able to call an audible, or even better, if a director can get a rider to roll through or take advantage of a moment and surf your way into a little bit of free time or free speed out there. And it's in those tiny little margins where this race is won and lost. It's going to be coming up with a 2/10 of a second here, 3/10 of a second there that'll decide this one today. So let's get it on.
Real quickly, let's take a look at the current course records out here today. And Dave, a team that we have
This ought to be
not
good.
seen in a really long time. I'm not sure that they're showing up anymore, if they've disbanded, but they were essentially a TTT team for the longest time. On the women's side of things, holding this down still, it's the Wonder Women at the top, actually,
Wow.
for the course records, 41-42. And they were one of those teams that were battling over and over again with socks for Watts week in and week out, as well as against Sisu. I Race Like a Girl. Cool to see that they're still holding on. Will they hold on there today is going to be interesting to see. Aeonian Race Team, Crush Pod, Zed Sun Quasar. PO Auto Ceramic Speed as well. It's been a while, obviously, since we've hit the flat route because, again, PO Auto Ceramic Speed, they were dominating a year and a half ago. So go ahead, Dave.
Oh, I'm going to say, Nathan, this is almost like looking at a slice in time, to tell you the truth. It's almost, what, is this a year and a quarter ago? Because that Wonder Women's team, that was Monali Keller v. Win. I think Meredith
Natalie
Kessler
Lawrence
might have been the
Natalie
Wonder Woman.
Lawrence was on
Natalie
there, yep.
Lawrence, right, yeah. And if you look at it, PO Auto Ceramic Speed, they were one of the men's franchises that they had quite a run there. But I have a feeling that we're going to see both of those times shattered today. And even though the drafting dynamics wouldn't lead you to think it's more favorable today, that's a question for you, actually, Nathan. I think it's a little bit harder, but the teams have gotten a lot better.
We'll have to wait and see. It'd be interesting to see.
We'll find out.
If they can pull that off.
Yeah, this is going to be good. This is really like racing another era.
It is.
This is another era.
Yeah. It is another era, a whole another era. Very cool to see these course records. So I'm not sure any of those will be broken today. It'd be a tough time, I think. We're going to jump right on in with one. I don't know. I mean, but only because I have some inside information, Dave. That's the only reason why. And I'll show it to you right now. The inside information is just the fact that I was looking through some of the times already set today, and some of the best showed up with a 39:02. In Doppio, and it's a little bit off.
They started with 8 riders.
Yeah, so I mean, if Cyrus can't pull it off,
they're not doing it,
I wonder, right?
Yeah.
I wonder.
No, that's real. That's the new gold standard of team time trialing teams. Saris no pins, and and things have changed. If you go back to when these times were set, talking about the course records that Nathan was just showing us, that Zwift was different back then. The drafting dynamics were significantly different. I obviously, Nathan, am not racing at this level to be out there to experience as you are, but from what I've picked up, it sounds like it might even be something like a 30-second difference on a day like today.
Yeah, it looked like about that actually with the with what we saw there in that list just a second ago, as we need to get out of the rocks here. Sorry, guys, everybody. Once in a while. Now
you're so good at this that people don't even know it. People don't even realize that you're controlling the camera as well as doing research and looking up what kind of penguin we're talking about today. And it's pretty amazing that you're able. The camera is just second nature for you. So it's like an umpire in American baseball, Nathan. If you never notice them, they're doing an incredibly good job. So
I just noticed myself. Right. That was the point there. I see now. Yes. It up. This is the one section, of course, though, with the rollers. As we jump in with high watt here with circuit, this is going to be the telltale, I think, for a lot of the teams, whether or not they know how to keep the highest speed you possibly can through this kind of a section right here, and not drop any of your team members, as Swanee now takes over at 5.3 watts per kilogram coming out of Scotland.
Will you leave it on circuit here for me for a moment? As this high watt team is named after a brand of coffee that was developed by one of the guys who on this team who just loves roasting coffee. That is not Circuit, although I bet Circuit Bendar loves coffee as well. But he lives right where I am, here in the foothills of the Front Range of the Rocky Mountains. So I'm wondering specifically where he is. Maybe Estes Park, I'll go with. That's a good guess. I don't know if they have very good internet up in Estes Park, but at any rate, it's good to see Circuit out here with this high watt team. We're going to have a chance to get to meet these guys here today. So this is the latte class, and we've been talking a lot in our internal conversations about wanting to highlight all of the different levels of racing and having teams participate. And like Matt from Sisu has been great, the Mercy team, Mercy ZRG. So we really appreciate the teams that get us information. That's how I know. Oh, he lives in Denver. Sorry, Nathan, not Estes Park. I know you got excited. He lives there with his wife and kids and dogs and a bearded dragon. Do you know what a bearded dragon is, Nathan?
Yeah, I mean it's a living dinosaur essentially. I think they're one of the a long.
More or less, right?
Yeah, I mean those are some pretty cool animals to have. Well, I mean keeping I don't know about round the house. I haven't let
I don't know
one out
about
of a cage
around.
before,
Yeah, yeah.
but he'd have to let us
People seem to
know.
be pretty comfortable with like holding them, and they seem to be pretty human friendly, that's for sure. But I digress. He's a massive Zwifter, loves Legos with the son Finnegan, guitar player. I mean, this guy's got the Colorado lifestyle figured out. He's got his baby girl's name is Hendrix. What a cool name. She's going to appreciate that in her life. So that's Circuit there. uh, can you find Mike Grill? Nathan, is Mike out there?
They
Circuit's just
have
finishing up his poll.
they all have like I think interesting names. I'm gonna guess where is Mike from because maybe uh the country flag will help me out to find him because
Well,
in-game names here
he's
aren't really helping
Portland.
us out. So he's
Oh,
USA,
really?
coffee
Oh, I
snob
see.
maybe, or maybe it's the
Let
coffee
me
snob,
see.
or maybe it's
It is
Chili
not, but go
Willy.
to Coffee
Chili
Snob.
Willy. I mean, we could go with Chili Willy here as well.
So actually, you're on Swanee. If go back to Swanee because that's Colin Swan. I just figured
All
that
right,
one out.
sounds good.
I
Yeah,
think
coming out
I've
of
got
Scotland.
most of them. Mike Grill goes by Cold Bill. Is his? I'm cracking the code, Nathan, right in front of everyone's ears here. But so Swanee, love this guy. I tell you what. He and his dad rode together. Some of my fondest memories are uh, heading out on the. But my dad was the first guy I ever rode with as well, and we had some great experiences. He lives in Belfast, a place that I've been before in my life in Northern Ireland, but he's from Scotland. So he is definitely someone who's a gamer. So Nathan, I wanted to throw that back at you because these are your kind of people, and he's also a Martin kind of person as he's into rugby union. The Six Nations Championship is something he's really, really into. That's Swanee that we're looking at there, Colin Swan,
Nice.
getting
And
to
then
meet the Highwatt boys
yeah,
today.
let's who's Chili Willy is what I'm wondering. Also coming out of the USA on the front here. And they
Was
do
this
have a
our
solid time right now with 11:26. They're currently tied for the fastest time at the 8 kilometer mark. Nice on them. Maybe knowing that they're one of the featured teams. I think they showed up with it looks like 7 on the day. Tied right now with Up and Trotter Latte. Still to come through though is ATB Racing Nitrogen, Rully Rhinos, and the Vikings Valhalla, which is going to be really usually the faster teams. They were the sixth to go out, which tells me they're right on the edge of challenging those faster teams, and they're going to prove themselves. I think today.
This is really where, I mean, if you love team time trialing, this is the essence, as I was saying, of the sport. Now, are we down to four, or if we pan back, Nathan, will I see a couple guys? Yeah, there we go. Just closing that gap down. Sometimes when you get stuck in the middle there, it looks like those who are back in with Circuit here, as this is here we go. I think that they're going to get things reorganized a bit. I should mention, I don't know if we'll get to everybody here. Martin Gill is on the team as well. He's a major Grand Fondo rider. He's done L'Etape, Liège, Baston Liège. Very, very active, lives in London. It's great to have him out here. He's a former rower, was big into crew in the 90s. And I'm reading more and more about it's not just Jason Osborne, the former world champion of esports. A lot of rowers have really identified with Zwift, which makes sense. Oren Akvik. I don't know if Oren is in this group or not, but he's the team's Norwegian. He lives there with his wife and kids. Is an engineer. So because I love this, his real name is Oren, but because non-Norwegians do not know non-Norwegian letters, amen. That is completely true. We get pretty creative with his name, and he doesn't seem to be too worried about it, Nathan. I appreciate that.
And gonna see the one Canadian on the team, Eric, from High Watt. And is this gonna be Eric Humlin, actually? Racing zero on WTRL TTT since early 2021 after getting a training before Christmas in 2020. So a little over a year on the platform racing, it looks like. Um, since the beginning of 2022, we bumped up to two TTTs on Thursdays, actually. So really, really committed
Wow.
to it. Uh,
Yeah.
Very cool. He says he's only done 3 bike races, 2 BC bike races about 10 years ago. And the DV, I don't know, DV, do you know what DV 100 in Drayton Valley is? Alberta last
I do
summer.
not.
I do not either. It sounds like a tough event, though, for sure. Whenever there's 100 in there. Uh,
That's a
obviously he's
good
a part.
indicator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously a part of the Dirt family. So he's got 3 kids, Zach, Dania, and Callie. He's an executive director at Alberta Data Partnership. So right down the data management alley. Good to see. Good to hear. And good job on Eric out there hammering away for the High Watt team right now. Uh, we absolutely love it when they share all this information across for us, and they are really proven today that they have shown up to show
Oh.
off who they are. I mean, this first lap, have they gone out
Yeah.
too strong? Do you think they've gone out too hot though, knowing they were a featured team, perhaps?
Not Well, you know what? No, not really. I feel like they look pretty darn good to me, Nathan. I have to say. You were just talking about that rider from Edmonton. I mean, they're still deep into Zwift season. These guys are fully committed. These little gaps just tell me that they're pushing hard, but maybe a good problem to have right now. Again, it's 3 laps out here today. Each lap is a little over 10K each, so they're coming up on the middle part of this race. I like the cut of their jib. Feel like they're doing a great job out here. So they hit this dirt section here again. So that was Nathan. Let's see here. Who have we missed? Dan Williams, Danville. I don't think we've talked about
I'm
Danville yet.
assuming
He's
that's gonna
racing.
be Chili Willy. I'm assuming that's who that's gonna
I.
be.
That's a pretty good guess, just by
He's off the
process of
front right now.
elimination.
I mean, he went off the front just to say, give us a little bit of a highlight here, maybe at the 14.3 kilometer mark, because he's separating things up right now.
Well, he's going to get a highlight for Dan Williams one way or another here. Dan is a triathlete who's on the team. He's out of the United Kingdom. He
Okay,
lives
so
actually
maybe it's
West
gonna be
Yorkshire.
Danville right here. That's who it's gonna be, not Chili Willy. That'll be Danville
Oh, that's
with Danville
Danville.
in the name
Thank you.
right there. There we
Yep,
go.
yep. There you go. Oh, interesting. So, what number is Chili Willy? That might finally have, through process of elimination for a second time. So, but let me get with Dan here. Dan, again, is out of West Yorkshire. So many of you have enjoyed racing on that Harrogate course, the World Championship course. Well, that's exactly where he lives. Has 2 kids, Henry and Alice. They're 9 and 5 years old, and he is a CEO, so businessman at a health and beauty manufacturer there. So good to have Dan out here racing. Dan, got to
Ooh,
stall the beans a little bit, let the boys get
apologies,
back up
everybody.
on his wheel.
There we go.
And there we go. 5 together. I think it's worth waiting that heartbeat now for one more rider, Nathan, although obviously this is a discussion that we have so often about do you wait? The clashes, should I stay or should I go, comes to mind.
On this course, at the speeds that are consistently happening here, I just don't see a huge value. I mean, well, it's tough. It's always so tough because that extra 30 seconds to a minute of rest is so
Here are
incredibly
the
important.
So the factors that you have to look at when you're making this decision, that's always a good way to kind of break it down. How long, how much longer do you have to race? How much trouble is that rider? Did they have a hiccup and they're going to come back and be strong, or have they really been struggling? And I mean, if you're just going to wait for them to get dropped again, I mean, I know no one has a crystal ball, can see into the future, but at some point you have to either fish or cut bait.
100%. And you really do have to be careful about how much weight you do. You could lose so much time out there. That's for sure. And it does look like they are gonna bring this all back together, though. They did let Coffee Snob go. It looks like from Highwatt, 15.6 kilometers. So he's a full 100 meters back at this point, and they're gonna just carry on. It looks like Highwatt we'll
That's
see. They were
Billy.
holding down, tied for the highest or with the fastest. Now we'll see at the 16K. That's gonna tell us that they cross it over right now.
I did want to give Billy a shout out because the Coffee Snob is really how Team Highwatt was named. Came from his love and need for coffee. As part of the church planting culture, Billy began roasting coffee beans for the Awakened City Church shortly after the church launched back in 2016. And that really sparked something, a passion inside of him. And that name stuck and became his name in the Zwift universe. So, Billy, good job out there. You're an important part of our culture, that's for sure. And it sounds like he's just a great guy in his community. So he's been a part of the work that was being done by the Dirt Dad Fund. He was really inspired by that and connected with Chris at that point, and has moved it on up to this level with Highwatt out here, and he continues to roast coffee and really love that. So Billy, keep it up.
Awesome to see. Awesome to see.
So that's
There's
our
this Highwatt team so much in the background with them. We'll have to visit them again, I think, because there's
yeah.
just
We'll
so.
check back in.
Yeah, we'll check back in with them for sure. But there's another team that I definitely wanted to jump in with that is new to the. Well, we're jumping in with the Rhinos here for a second, but we're gonna see if we can get across the Sisu and the Espressos and the rest of that crew
Oh, great,
in just a moment,
awesome.
Dave. If you wanted to start highlighting them just a tad, that'd be super appreciated. As it looks like Highwatt, though,
Of course.
not quite coming through with their time just yet. We'll see if we can see what that. I was really interested to see what they're going to pull off here. To wait for some of the data to come on through for that 16 kilometer mark.
You know what I was saying about Norwegian letters, Nathan? Well, Finnish letters are going to come into play here, so please bear with me. But and what's interesting is Matt is one of the guys. Matt Jan is one of the folks that has really stood out to me as having an incredible touch, a velvet touch. Well, the velvet hammer. A good thing to call him because he really gets it done. Super organized, has a huge passion for Zwifting and his team and keeping things light and fun. And he's just got an amazing attitude. Nathan, I think you've probably had a chance to communicate with Matt a little bit along the way. And I think you'll see, just as I did, that just someone that's a real joy. So the Sisu racing team, it's great to have them back. And see, one thing that folks might not realize is this is a real honor for teams, and they fight really hard to be in the WTRL's Platinum League. And it's not guaranteed. You're only as good as your race last week. So for the teams, they're not always here. So it's nice to be back for Sisu, as this is the Pampuli team in the espresso category that we're joining. Now, Pampuli, if I remember correctly, means cotton wool. And I don't know what cotton wool, well, cotton, which I can't imagine they grow much cotton up in Finland, but they, the, the team is not Finnish based, but what they are is using the top sort of a vibe from Finland of the top 10 Finnish words to name the different Sisu teams. So they're really excited about reaching 200 members. They formed for the 123 team time trial with just four of them, and they've grown to, as I just said, over 200 members. And they now have in real life kit that they all wear, but they're also incredibly excited. Is this it, Nathan?
Yeah, we
Is
found
this the
them.
new
We
kit?
found them. No, this isn't the new kit, but we
This
did
is the
find
old.
them out on course here. This is going to be one of their Zwift kits that they have been using
Oh, that
in game.
Yeah, this is the old one, but their new kit is actually somewhat. It's all ready to go, and they're really excited about it. So I think maybe next week we will see that. But I'm really happy we had a chance. Nathan, thanks a lot for finding Sisu out here. And this is Jesper Lindahl that you're in with. Jesper is Finnish, So certainly he's the one that can help us with all the translations. He's a road mountain bike racer, 24 years old. Just back from Girona, actually, where he was doing a training camp down there. Takes his racing very, very seriously. He was fourth in the Finnish national championships for cross country mountain bike racing, and has been the Finnish
Wow.
champion in his career. So,
Whoa.
guy that I'm sure has earned your
That's
respect,
yeah,
Nathan.
that's pretty serious. I mean, that's about as serious as it gets. I want to do highlight quickly here as well as far as in-game kit goes. I'm wondering across. I think they're going to do something that's more across the left side there, maybe the left or the one over from the left. So their new kit will begin game here soon. Big shout out to sharing up the images of what their in real life kit does look like. And you were saying a little bit, kind of able to find something similar there when it comes to the Zwift in-game
Close.
kit, but that is not what they will be riding in. Obviously, as soon as their kit does launch, so cool to see that they'll be throwing that down soon.
Jesper's young, 24 years old. I'd have to ask Martin someday what the average age of a participant is in
Ooh, that's a
the
great question,
WTRL.
actually.
Yeah, I was just speaking with a friend. Tour de France Feminine avec Zwift coming up, and they just announced Roubaix. I'm so excited. Kate's birthday, Kate Verno's birthday was yesterday, and Kate's been a key player in all of that. I
So
heard
who is Kate
Marianne Martin.
Verno? Who is Kate Verno for everybody who's out? I mean, we've been around Zwift for a long time, right, Dave? But everybody, who's Kate?
It's a good point.
Like?
So Kate is one of the I bet you Kate was one of the first 20 people hired at Zwift. Like
Yep.
one of the very originals, right? Like she and Charlie and that crew. Kate has been spearheading the women. She's done a lot of different projects at Zwift. Has helped run the Zwift Academy. Really got that
Yes,
all going, which is
she was as far as the women's side of the Zwift Academy. That was her baby, that's for sure.
she
And all
kicked
things women's
butt with
stuff,
that.
kind of
Yeah.
on Zwift, have been a huge push for her. So big shout out to
Yeah,
Kate.
I would say she and Crystal Haggard have been two incredible advocates for. So Zwift gets accolades that are 100% deserved for supporting women's racing, women in general, just sort of doing the right thing, having a true moral compass, and those two have been real leaders in the company for just helping appreciation for women's racing, and both Crystal and Kate. I mentioned Kate's birthday, but even more important, on her birthday, not more important, but on her birthday, they announced that Paris Roubaix is now also going to be supported with by Zwift. So it's Paris Roubaix avec Zwift, and NBC Sports is going to be doing live coverage every day of women's Tour de France this year. So it's just nothing but good news coming out of that. So, Kate, thank you for all that you do. I don't know that Kate watches WTRL, but hopefully she will now.
I know that she has in the past whenever one of the Zwift HQ teams was up and running
Oh, the old
with
Rockets.
Platinum League, yeah, or something along those lines. But I'm not sure that they're going to be out there at the moment. Good to see. I do see the people coming on in over at Twitch. We're seeing
Hello, Twitch people.
Lindsay as well as I Am Ryder. A couple of great to see all you hanging out over there. Now I am seeing some chat coming in from Sisu themselves. Actually, great to see that the team is jumping into chat. Great coverage day today, Dave. Racing Pampula will be in Vintage 2. That is the kit that
Oh
they
no,
currently are running right now. He says he's got a power
they're
failure, so he's watching this here in the dark on his iPhone. So
that must be
thanks
Matt.
for jumping in still.
Yeah, Matt, thanks for all you do. Hey, Nathan, would you do me a favor? Can you pick out Muhammad? I'm not sure. He's rider number 3 on my list. I don't know if you're going to be able to. I appreciate you doing this, by the way, Nathan. It's been absolutely awesome. And I'd like to quickly note that today, it's been all men that we've been in with, but that's not by design, folks. We would love to, and we've had a lot of women's teams in the past, and we'd love more. So, this kind of information, if you want to reach out, we're actually working on setting up a template so we can make it easy for you to get us your team's information. And we'll let you know as soon as that's available. For right now, though, we'll just use the old school method. You can reach out on socials, and I'll get you my email. Or Nathan and I are both really easy to find, and that's exactly how Matt did it. Reached out. Now we know that they're so excited about getting their new kit, but today wasn't the day. But we do have a racer from Morocco with us. North Africa, a place I've always wanted to go. Muhammad is a dad. He's got three sons. He's raced in real life with some top results at the Moroccan national races there. He took a break from cycling before he did the excuse me, it's such a mouthful, transcontinental race, which was and finished top 10 there in Africa. So during the pandemic, he rode in the UCI African qualifiers with us here. And he just loves racing with the Sisu team, and we love having you, Mohammed. So that is Mohammed, rider number 3 that we're in with. I saw the
So
Spanish flag for Jorge.
yeah,
Sorry,
here we
Nathan.
go. I mean, this is pretty awesome to see all the different country flags too. I mean, this is across the board. I'm not seeing a single. No, they're all from a different country.
Well, when I was talking with Matt
Extremely
last week,
international.
oh, it's incredible with over 200 members. So, uh, Matt, when we first were communicating, I was like, "Hey, call me." I had a couple questions for him, and it was easier than emailing, and he did. And then I found out he was in Australia. um, I thought for sure it was an American team with just American guys, you know? So that's why we do this is to be able to learn about your teams. And I mean, so there's a Canadian, an Australian, a few Australians, a Moroccan, a Spanish rider, a Finnish rider, a Norwegian, a Lithuanian, and someone from the United Kingdom on this team. Let me jump in though with Jorge here. Jorge is a passionate Spanish cyclist. He's been doing this for most of his life. Big time mountain bike racer. He's been cross country racing for the last 10 years. He discovered Zwift during COVID, and it really just enhanced the indoor training experience so much for him by connecting with people. Clearly, that is what the secret sauce is for Sisu. I mean, what if you become a member of Sisu, you pretty much have a place to stay in every country in the world if you want to go travel, I would think. So he's super competitive, and he found that this team is too. And one thing that he loves about it, just like me, is the multinationality. So good job out there, Jorge.
Looking to try and hang on
We've
right
got
now.
rider
Looks
number
like he's just barely going to do so. Or hey,
World Championships are coming up in Australia for the road this year. Certainly, I'm more than hoping to have a chance to make my first trip down there ever. That's where Josh lives. Josh Lennox is rider number 4. And Josh began cycling in Brisbane before. So Brisbane is where a lot of the top time trialists come out of, like Rowan Dennis. Um, before moving to Sydney, where he lives now, connecting with the community there, he's done rides as much as 3,300 kilometers in 21 days to raise awareness for mental health, and we really appreciate that. That speaks to the spirit of this community for sure. He's never raced in real life, but I have a feeling he's not. He might be on the threshold of that with all this riding that he's been doing out here on Zwift, Nathan. So Josh Lennox, keep it up out there. The next rider that we have is Lou. Lou's Canadian. He's the team captain. So, Lou, you do a great job keeping things classy out there. And that's one thing Sisu is certainly known for, keeping it on the up and up. He races with Apex, which is he's a dad of 2, triathlete as well, and even beat Lance Armstrong back in the day. How about that?
really?
Yeah.
Raced triathlon for 6 years and beat Lance Armstrong back in the day. On the triathlon side of things, most likely is what I'm
Yeah, Lance,
assuming
up
there.
until he was about 18 years old, was way more of a triathlete than a. Well, I mean, he came into bike racing from triathlon.
Hmm.
That's all fairly
Yeah,
well
Lou also
documented,
loves
I
gravel
think.
racing too. Good to see.
Who
Very
doesn't?
cool.
Do you even need to say that, right?
Well, I need to get out there and
You know
see
what
if
I
I do
heard?
love it. That's what I
So
need to
I
do.
think you would, Nathan, I think you would absolutely adore gravel racing. You just got to get like a good battery on your Garmin. Get a Garmin 830 or something, and because man, you will get out there. But I heard the other day, actually, nothing to do with Zwift or Garmin, but 38% of the roads in America are not paved. So, if you think about that, that bodes well for gravel riding, doesn't it? As people want to get away from cars. That's something that gravel and Zwift really share is getting away from cars.
Getting caught here by Smurfsvey. Not too surprised though. Smurfsvey is one of the fastest teams, week in and week out. I think they were the top ranked team actually,
They were
last week. So a little bit
they
of a
won
catch
by
here as they move
nine
on through.
seconds. Yeah, last week it was actually 8 seconds that they beat TMR by, with Eat Dirt finishing third in the Espressos. Look at that 30-50. It's pretty close. It's Dirt Chasers there sitting 9 seconds back at that check that's 6K from the finish. 30, let's call it 30.9K of racing out here. It's not over, that's for sure. Oh, let me quickly work through the rest of the riders as we have everybody with us here. This is going to be rider number 6 that we've got, the Lithuanian on the team, Satkis Neramantis. He's a very aggressive rider who is absolutely adored on the team. And he's new and is really already fit right in with the squad. So that's rider number 6. If we could jump to 7, Nathan, that's going to be Sebastian on the squad. Is Sebastian still up in here?
He has made it.
Sebastian is from 26 from Oslo, Norway, cross country skier, biathlete. He switched to the bike back in 2014 because of injuries. So he loves being on the team, and he's certainly been inspiring the other riders around him. And then finally, Nathan, if we can go to rider number 8, I'll have a chance to touch base here with James, who's
James,
out of
I
the
think,
United Kingdom.
off the back here, he put his work in early for the team and rolling through
He'll be
Ocean
back.
Boulevard.
He's a loyal, passionate Liverpool Football Club supporter. So you know he's got heart, plays the drums. He's been into cycling for about 10 years. And as we said, if you're jumping in with this team, you're jumping in with the big dogs, and he'll be back. Nathan said he
One
did
thing I
his work
see in these
early.
bios when it comes to this team is across the board, it seems, at least those who mention, I mean, it's mentioned often the level of organization coming from Sisu,
Yeah,
that I do see, as well
no
as kind of
kidding.
the passion within the team. And that speaks a lot to the leadership, I think, for a newer team. And very, very cool. And obviously, the way that the team had approached us, it was really obvious right from the get go how passionate they were about the organization, about getting people together in order to race bikes here, out on Zwift. So really cool by them. And it's obvious just from what's being written by their own team members that seems to just kind of be a theme around them. So cool
Yeah,
to see from Sisu.
yeah, just like at the Zwift Community Live. um, I completely agree. You know, you really do prop each other up out there, folks. And I'm not even kidding, actually. Same thing for us, right, Nathan? I mean, it's what a team is all about. And if you're not looking out for your teammates and trying to make them feel good about things, you're probably not doing your best job, I'd say. So it's going to be, this is a team that's doing their best job, that's for sure. I have a feeling, well, so this is Schmerz Frey. I thought we would have seen a fastest time from them, actually. Schmerz Frey Espresso in with a 30-50. Well, it still might be, actually. They're tied with Down and Dirty Vipers. This is going to start updating here as some teams are finishing. As you can see, that red flag is what explains that. 30-50 is the fastest time. So we'll see if Schmerz Frey Espresso is going to be able to hold on, or if the Down and Dirty Vipers are going to be able to get the better. This is 2 monster teams. Nathan, I talked about expecting it to be within 10 seconds. How about within 1 second?
It's gonna be so close between these, and the Vipers battling with Smurfs Espresso. What a great battle on one of the best courses to really prove your talent on a TTT today at number 151. We're still looking to get across to Mercy ZRG Cramp. They are out in the frappes. We'll be checking in with them in a second, but we're about to see what's going to happen with the espressos. I did hear from Mutant X. We saw your chat, Mutant X, and we saw it was you versus Cryogen Gulls. Did you hold on to those seconds? I think by 18 seconds, Mutant X may be able to pull something off out here today. We'll take a look at the results at the end of the day. Not sure they were able to challenge those SARS no pins in that Doppio crew. But you have to wait around to
Mutant
see
X.
what happened between the. Yeah, Mutant X is the new team on the block, and they have been proven
Sounds
week in and week out
scary.
they're here to stay.
It sounds scary to me. It's going to be fun to watch. That's always great when the first time you recognize a new team name to watch their ascendancy out in the WTRL. This is going to be, again, the last, let's call it 2K out here, 180 meters of climbing, which in esports talk is really not much. That's a cup of coffee as far as climbing goes. This is going to be now the Atomic Racing Team. They always have a lot of good energy. And ART,
About to finish, actually,
they're
just
just
coming
about to
across the
finish.
line.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
couple hundred meters
just
away from
across
the
the line.
line. Mr. Scotty there.
Jumping around a little bit here, we are finding there's like riders everywhere. Jets just finishing. AHDRLT. Uh, Lots and lots of racers just coming across the line as we jump back in with Sisu, looking like a little bit of separation happening for the Sisu team as
Looks like it's a
they
pretty
look to
big
get their
day.
final. Looking to get
Looks
their
like the
final riders just across the line there. It looks like, and they had to drop one more off. Really at this point in the race, it's just get to the line though with four, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, from this point on, absolutely. To see six are a luxury. That is, you talked about it a few weeks ago, Nathan, when you can do that at about 500 meters to go, just that all out sprint to the line. This is the team we had a nice chance to get to know today. Sisu just about to finish up. And again, you can always go to WTRL.racing to find results for all of the different categories. We're deep into the 151st consecutive week of team time trialing, different course every week. I guess, well, there are some repeats, but not that often. It's been a long time since we've raced out here on Watopia Flat Route, 30.9K. The women are just getting going. See a lot of Ukrainian flags. No war, as goes without saying. The guys we'll still have a chance. I think we might be more focusing on the women from here on in, but it's been a lot of fun seeing our men finishing up out
Yeah, let's see
here
if we can jump
today.
across. Let's see if we can jump back across. We were
Yeah,
looking
I
to
know
try
that's
and
a
get into the
challenge. You know,
frappes in just a moment here.
if
If we
we
can, we will
can't,
do
we
so.
certainly will next week, I'm sure.
We are
We're
in
trying to find our
Rave
Mercy
Against the
friends, I think.
Machine. Rave Against the Machine here, hammering away in the women's side of things. And we are. That's exactly what I was up to here with Mercy, ZRG Cramp. We'll see if we can still find them. They may also just be finishing up as well. But there's going to be John Blackshaw, Martin Gill, Michael Shackloff, Neil Oakes, Paul Skipper, Simon Robinson, Stuart Flugger, Tom Kennedy, and Tom Williams. If we can find you out on course, we'll see what we
These
can
guys are
do.
we will definitely make sure that we give the due credit where it's deserved because these are a great group of guys on that Frappe team that Nathan's talking about. And I don't want to give them short shift, Nathan. I'm sure we need to get another women's team in the mix here. So I'm going to throw that back out there. Hey, reach out to us, either one of us, and get us your bios for your team members. And we would love to get a shout out for you. This is a great way to do it. The women are getting out on course. It's the same course out here, 3 laps on Watopia Flat, 180 meters of climbing. We can see our first, boy, that's been a strong team, Galaxy Supernova Surge. Now, it's different depending on which team time trial you're looking at. Here, we start our fastest seeded teams, and that's from all 19 zones. The fastest teams start last and the 11 top teams, excuse me, in this case, 9, it varies a little bit, will qualify. It's really, I think it's 11 or 12 teams get an invite. Not every team, because of the global nature, will actually accept the invite. But here are some more times coming in for our Vienna lattes. The coffee classes are how we work here. Latte, mocha, espresso. For the women, it's Vienna latte, Vienna espresso, and Vienna frappe.
Rave Against the Machine doing a solid job, it looks like, keeping things together. They showed up with plenty of riders out here today. Good to see, as there are 8 total with their newer in game kit. A little bit of chatter about what Rave does. And if you don't know about Rave, they are all women's team that focuses in on racing, specifically a huge part of the ZRL Zwift Racing League. And they are looking forward to the next season of the Zwift Racing League, season number 3 in this 2021-22 and calendar year. They do a course recon every Sunday prior to. It's called the Rave Con. It's the party essentially, where you can go out and do a course recon with one highlighted community member. Usually having a special guest that jumps in and walks everybody through how to race while you do a group ride and have some fun with it. So great job by Rave and Rave Against the Machine. Let's see what kind of times that they're able to pull through here. They were coming into this, I want to say 4th fastest team, as they were the 7th to go out on course. Galaxy Supernova Surge are actually a new team from Galaxy Supernova that have jumped into the Platinum League, it looks like, Dave, as Galaxy Supernova Velocity were the fastest from last week, going out 11th. But the Surge going out first, but they just pulled off a 12:42 ahead of HTC, as well as WTRL Racing Pirates, Cycling Pirates.
They are flying. And from my experience, Galaxy Supernova has a tremendous squad. This is the team of Tiffany Pizzulo, if my memory serves me correctly. You know what? I'm going to go check that because they are clearly next level ride happening out there. But before I do that, let me give a shout out to all of the riders here because this is Eddie Oji on the Rave Against the Machine squad that we have here. El Cassette, BB Bull, along with Gonda Beltman are the 2 Dutch riders. We've got Louise and Sally, along with Tiffany Colby, making up this Rave Against the Machine team out here. I apologize because I have a feeling I'm missing a rider, but is what I have. So good job out here. Again, a team that's really made their mark in esports racing. Looking for good things to happen for Rave out here today. Galaxy Supernova with the 1242 is going to be in with the Hereford Triathlon Club. Good to see the Vixens are out here with the 1319 as they're pretty close with WTRL Cycling Pirates. Their first 3 times coming in at that 8K check. We'll have another one at 16 and 24 before they finish up at 30.6K out here today.
Yeah, actually, a shout out to HTC, as you did mention them, as Kelly Rose is hanging out in chat, letting us know she's not out here today. She's not racing due to COVID, actually. So, Kelly, get well soon. And big shout out to the rest of her teammates from HTC. Always a very competitive crew when it comes to the team time trial. They're here week in and week out and battling to hold on to that coveted spot in the Platinum League.
Isn't it funny, Nathan, in the group that we're with, Vienna Latte, all of these teams are so recognizable, like Virtue Slow. We've really gotten to know them well through the last years. Team Electric Spirit.co. I mean, they've been amazing, to tell you the truth. Galaxy Supernova, Crush Pod. Have you ever heard of Crush Pod? Are you kidding me? They're legends, right? I mean, come on.
What I want to know here against these teams,
have you ever heard of Crush Pod?
No, I mean Crush Pod.
What a joke! Yeah,
every week here they're in with this crew. Let's go ahead and talk to what's happening across all the teams here. I mean, in the Vienna Espresso here, Sisu, I raced like a girl. 11:45, BBB 11:50. They have been battling back week in and week out. Now TSC Seminoles are getting into the conversation though.
Ooh.
Only 6 seconds back. Rave on and What's Up on Fire there, a little ways back there, as you can see, 30 plus seconds. But this is going to be a battle for the top spot, it looks like, across this entirety of 30 kilometers in the Vienna Espressos.
So, yeah, the Vienna Espressos that Nathan is talking about, I wanted to go. Don't let me forget to go back to Galaxy Supernova either here, Nathan. But this is okay. So it's the A team minus Catherine Curie because it's Tracy Campbell, Meredith Kessler.
Oh, Curie's there. She's there. I see her on screen right now.
Oh, really? Okay, my bad. I didn't see her.
Right here.
Okay. Well, it's the A team with. That makes it the A plus team, right? Catherine Curie, one of the greatest esports racers of all time. Kate Ligler and Carly Johan. So this is the I race like a girl Sisu team that we have come to know and love for sure.
Now,
Oh
my
yeah, you know what?
question here,
Catherine Curie
are
is
they
listed as
catching?
Saris no pins because she's been racing with Saris for Premier. My bad. That explains. Threw me off.
Looking here with BBB, it does look like they are being caught uh, little by little here as they're about halfway through. 47 seconds back. Carly Johan on the front here. 4.9 watts per kilogram currently coming from her as
You know,
she looks to pull 51. Now, on this downhill here, it's always interesting section as to whether or not you get a roll through if the rider on the front just continues to just try and pound the pedals, regardless of that 5.2. Watch Kessler roll through at 2.6. Sometimes you just got to own that and roll it right on through with the speed, but it looks like Johan's going to continue on toward the front.
yeah, and this is what we were talking about when we opened the broadcast, how this is a day for precision team time trialing. And to tell you the truth, having 5 precise riders is going to be better than having 8 sloppy ones out here. So this kind of does become, it's 30.6K. It's not a long day. So with the endurance that these athletes have, if you can just get 5 riders with their heads screwed on straight, all willing to commit to the effort, which clearly Sisu, I Race Like a Girl are. That's going to be Campbell that we're looking at right now here. So this is absolutely one of the top teams of all time in the 151 WTRL races that have been held, or this is the 151st. I do want to give BBB credit. They have really risen to the occasion. Talking about leveling up. Now, this team is almost entirely out of the United Kingdom. I know that Sweden is not part of the UK, so Anne, the Swedish rider here, but then you've got Claire Stringer Phillips, the Scottish rider Karen Outram, Michelle Curry, Sarah Lucas, Teresa Daviette, TP, and Tracy on that BBB team that continues to get better and better. They're actually having a great day. It's just that Sisu is one of the best teams in the world.
And to the front now, it is going to be your one rider out of Sweden. It looks like was taken over for a second. 13.6 and about halfway through as they exit Ocean Boulevard. If we were going to look forward to what these riders will be taking on in the rest of this lap, they do go through this section here in a moment, Dave, that I want to speak to when it comes to team time trialing or even chase racing, when it's really, really focused in on grabbing that wheel as best as you possibly can and holding onto the draft. This next section of dirt does make things a little bit more difficult as it does slow down the avatars. So any kind of discrepancies between the
Does it
wattages and watts per kilogram between you and the other riders do get a little bit exaggerated through these sections. So it does, if you're
You
really
see
on
it
the
right
limit,
there?
this can be one of the most difficult sections to hold on, almost more difficult than the climbs.
Yeah, and you could actually, I think, see that right there in front of our eyes. This is BBB doing a really good job of staying together as a unit as they hit this challenging sector just at the midpoint of lap number 2. So they're right at the middle point of the overall race out here as well, as this is the familiar yellow jersey of BBB. I'm impressed, Nathan. This is a solid, solid effort right now from BBB out here. You can see that 5 second difference now that's changed a little bit. We're going to be watching TSZ, our friends from Sweden, the Cinnamon Rolls edition. They are really in the mix, and then a little bit of separation back between WTRL and Ravon in 4th and 5th. Ravon
Curry
with a
heading right to the front, 5.5 watts per kilogram right now,
she's
as
a
they're
machine.
about to cross that 14 to 15 kilometer markers. It does look like they shelled the rider shell from BBB as she's off the back here for the moment. Well, not for the moment, for the day. She's done her work as Curry looks to catch some of the WTRL riders that were dropped as well. So Curry, she is on a roll right now, just putting down huge power and speed, just telling the rest of the team just hang on because uh, she really wants to set. But maybe, we'll see a course record, Dave. I mean, it's gonna be a tough day to try and pull that off with the Wonder Women's 41-42 from back in the day.
Yeah,
Twenty
interesting.
thirty three right now. So, I mean, it's right on the edge,
I mean,
Dave. It's right on the edge.
I think that yes is going to be my answer. If there's one team that's going to have a chance to do it today, it's these ladies right here. Um, yeah, that's going to be really interesting to watch. Again, you can always reference back to WTRL.racing to see what comes true or not out here. But if you were to put up a poll saying, do they set a course record today? I'm going to go with yes. As you can see, that these are the records that have already been set. And it was so that Wonder Woman team, we talked about a few of the women on that team. I mean, it was such Natalie, V, Mona Lee, and I'm wondering, was Meredith Kessler on Wonder Women?
She may. That's a good
She
question.
may have been one rider that would be on that team and the team racing right now. I believe I said, yeah, Meredith is out here today. The very experienced triathlete and esports racer. That's a name we've been calling for a couple of years consistently at the high end of esports racing. Nathan, I'm just going to revisit this one time here as for our friends at Mercy. Hey, guys, we will get you next week for the next time that you're in Platinum for sure. Apologize. I bit off more than I could chew. I think, Nathan. Sometimes I do that.
Looking across the rest of this category here, we will definitely
You know me.
jump in with Mercy as quickly next week if they are around for sure. Now I'm going to jump across to another team, Socks for Watts, Odd Socks. They're 11:45. Just to give a shout out here, ZU for our girl as well. This is a squad, and we always like to kind of shout out these newer squads that are jumping into the mix here. That ZU4R in the last couple of weeks has been definitely on the radar as they've been challenging and been in the mix with the top teams amongst the women. At 12-17 right now, tied with the Aero Unicorns, actually in with the Frappes.
Oh, hello. Welcome to the big time. The main stage in Platinum League. These are the top teams that qualified. So they're not here just because of their good looks. They're here because of their efforts last week. They've been one of this is a breakthrough team to tell you the truth. And look at them. Look at this, Nathan. So 11:45. That's what the Odd Sox. I mean, they are in that elite stratosphere out here. But then you've got two teams at 12:17. Another one team at 2 seconds back. You only have to go one more second back. So you've got four teams within 3 seconds of each other, five teams within 10 seconds of each other. This is going to be epic out here today,
Well,
ladies.
this is really close racing, actually. Like, really, really close racing, except for the Odd Sox, who showed up with, like, their
Their name
monster
fits.
squad. The
They are
Odd
the Odd
Sox showed up.
Sox.
They showed up with 8 riders, and all 8 of these riders are like top end ZRL racing squad.
Did you
Clark
call
is
them the
here, Baldy is here, Despus is here, Harrop Madsen, Donna Watts, S Child. I mean, this is a crazy
Yikes?
team when it comes to the kind
Yikes.
of talent that's shown up today.
The Monster Sox.
The
Holy
monsters.
cow.
They're actually pretty close to what we just saw from Curry as well in that Vienna Espresso. Right around that 20-minute marker at the 14K. Not quite 15K, so
Boy,
about
look
maybe 30 seconds behind right now. But actually, let's take a look here at a 12,
to
24,
the
25.
to
Let's see what's
their
the time. What's the time here at 16? Or excuse me, 16K. It's not there yet.
so
Not there yet.
it's
11:45.
noteworthy that they've got all 8 riders, or at least 7 riders left here.
Actually, they were tied
Uh,
at 8K, 8K, 11:45 and
okay.
11:45.
What about 16?
That'll be the
As
question.
well, we'll know in a minute. They've got all 8 riders here, and they look great. Talking about, so this is going to be Vienna Frappe. So that 11:45. Well, we're still waiting for the 16K. They're tied at 8K. This is really exciting. It's rare that you have this scenario with teams in different classes racing against each other as far as fastest time. Okay. Well, that's a good look at an in-game kit that was well earned. Socks for Watts here.
Vespa's taking over at the front, 5.6 watts per kilogram. A little bit of a bump here. This is a section of the course where after that Ocean Boulevard, you head on into the marina section there for a moment with the dirt. A lot of times, just getting through there is the challenge, but there's that little 1% gradient that they're on now that I really like to bump as many watts per kilogram as I possibly can without dropping the team in order to carry speed through this S turn. This false flat section, you can gain a ton of time on other teams actually with it if you really pay attention to the sections where there's just these little gradients that can slow a team down by 1 kilometer per hour if they're not really paying attention. And as you can see, Baldy to the front here, 5 watts per kilogram right now, keeping it at 39 kilometers per hour as best as she possibly can as they're 22 minutes into this effort.
Yeah, bogging down is the issue, really, in those little sectors. And that's where the strong riders, the experienced riders really come through, learning how to keep the pace. I like Cassie Baldy, tremendous experience, always motivated, just a cornerstone for a team out here. But look at that. It's ZU4R to the top of the table. ZU4R girl with a 24:19. Just a little bit quicker than the Sox Watts Aero Unicorns who we've got on our screen right now. I must say that's a bit of an eye opener.
Yeah, let's see if we can find that team out on course. The ZU4R girl as definitely somebody that we want to pay attention to at the kind of times that they're pulling off here. Zed's son here, this is going to be Pluto. They came in with a 24:40. They were the fifth team to jump out on course. Tied Sox Euro Unicorn and the Jays, only 7 seconds between. As you said, Dave, on this course out here today, it's really, really close. B2B now coming through. Tied with ZU for our girl.
This is incredible. This is dream racing out here. That Zedson R team, that Pluto that Nathan was just talking about, is only 21 seconds behind the the B2B team, which is now tied at the top of the table here at that check. That's incredible now. So we've got ourselves a Donnybrook going on out here. This is the team that has certainly, I thought we're going to be shocking the world today in WTRL, but what we're seeing is a couple of teams have really stepped up, but this is certainly one of them. So this is ZU4R girl that we're looking at. 5 riders together as they're putting together, just about to go through lap number 2 out onto the last ronde, the last lap out here. What a ride. What a race.
Loving the kit that they're donning as well. This was I think, is this going to be, the 100-miler kit? And this was kind of the sought-after original OG Did You Earn It kit in-game from way back in the day.
It's a pretty cool kit. Yeah, I mean,
you can't go wrong with all black, All black, just you can't
with
go
that
wrong
subtle shading of the Z or the Z there.
And earning this kit in game, you got to ride 100 miles. So that means every team member here who has this kit in game has done that. Now, some of them it looks like
you want to join this team,
kit.
you want to be aware of that.
You can. There is reality here that if you don't have it, you can jump in with the Strava kit, would look somewhat similar, but to really be in and amongst the fold, it is that 100-miler. So cool to see. And they all on the Trons as well. So this is a little bit of a flex, I feel like, from ZU4R.
Yeah, and look at this now. So taking a look at a 23:01 for the Sox for Watts Odd Sox here in Vienna Frappe. They are in a league of their own. Back behind them, it was Team Italy Pink. This is going to be Sisu, I Race Like a Girl.
Yeah, just doing a comparison here real quick.
Yep.
Let's look at a little comparison. 22:56. 23:01 at the top.
5
still
seconds
up, for grabs here with that 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's certainly within the margin of it's going to be one heck of a race. Out on their last lap now is the team with so that 24:28 is now the 5th fastest time out here as the Sox Watts Aero Unicorns is adjusted to a 24:26, 24:25 for B2B. 24:51 for Team Italy Pink Ladies. So they certainly came out of the woodwork on us here, Nathan. Team Italy Pink, 23:51.
Look at the catch here, Dave, through the S's. Sox
really tricky part of the course.
Wait, what is going on? Is that Coalition and Team Italy all kind of together here? Yeah, all kind of like these catches all being made right around the same time. Interesting enough.
3 teams in within about 200 meters out there. So that's Team Italy pink.
Who went out first? Team Italy Pink went out first, but they have been caught by Sox Odd Sox. So Sox Odd Sox are just ripping through this course. They showed up with such a monster team this week as Cassie Baldi heads to the front. And they've actually caught 2 teams then. Italy Pink and as well as Coalition. Amalthea here now at this point. Now those teams are still in the battle here for a top 5 though. No joke teams or anything. It's just that Sox Odd Sox here really putting in what I would say an espresso type effort here at this point as they're battling it out really for the top spot on the day. 22.56 is what they're looking at. Wonder what that 24K marker is going to tell us.
Yeah, that'll be really interesting. The really basically our esports equivalent of World Tour would be Premier League, and there's certainly some cross pollination between the two. Some of the best riders in the community would more than hold their own. Riders like Rachel Elliott come to mind. Nathan, if she'd raced in Premier, it's not impossible for her to have had a win or 2 along the way. So you never really know where the best riders are. But one thing's for sure, some of them are out here racing with us today in the WTRL. As we take a look at this is a really fun situation. 2 different coffee classes racing against each other out here today, and it's almost a fair battle in that your Sisu has 5 riders. The women on screen here with 8. That is the odd Sox for Sox for Watts that we're looking at now, but they are 5 seconds slower than Sisu at the mid-race check. But we're about to start updating. Well, they're about 3.5K away from the next checkpoint before they make their way to the finish of the 3rd and final lap.
I want to highlight next week, everybody, if you are unaware, the times are going to change on the clocks next week. And just something we want to make sure that when it comes to the North American clocks, Saturday night, this will impact zones 2, 3, 4, 15, 16, and 17 if outside of North America, or if you live in a state that does not change its clocks, which is really confusing, to be honest. And if you live in for North America myself, if you live in North America and ride in any of the other zones, the times will change by 1 hour. This also affects team registration in the same way. So just be on the watch out for that. This will be posted over on WTRL's website to make sense of it all for you. For as far as what time people will be starting. I do have a fun little image that Martin shared with me. I'm not sure if this is going to make any sense whatsoever. But as you can see, some changes here. Go ahead and take a screenshot of that really quickly if you want to, or head on over to WTL.racing. And you can get an idea of where things are going to be, because that's a lot of data.
That speaks to.
I mean,
that right there, though, speaks to what WTRL is up against, right? I mean,
yeah, definitely.
Oh my gosh!
Just try and organize that in your head right now, everyone, to get an idea of what they work with in order to get everybody in the right place at the right time and off the start line correctly. Absolutely amazing, the kind of work that they put in. But definitely go check out to make sure that you get your zone correctly for next week, because for some reason we like to change our clocks around with daylight
willy-nilly, right?
Oh man, do you have any? This is like pineapple and pizza, maybe. I don't know. I feel like most of the world would just kind of is like, why do we do this? But that's my opinion. Maybe that's because I like pineapple on pizza, though.
Right. Well, that's a good point. I'm not sure what I know that Europe changes time, just not at the same week as us. I don't know if the whole world does or not. It's probably something. I mean, it's not something I'm passionate about, so I guess we can probably just leave that for the time change podcast or whatever. But I certainly think it makes things even more confusing. That's for sure. I don't know if you ever missed an event or been an hour early or an hour late for
Oh
something,
yeah,
but
oh yeah, it
yeah.
happens a couple times. Happens, but
Oh yeah.
that's the punishment that you get, and then you don't forget anymore when it's a big one. Something happens that's a big deal because you
Yeah,
forgot
yeah.
about the clock change, and then you're like, "Oh, was today the clock change?" Yeah, okay. I guess the clocks are changing.
Well,
Time
people
change.
like Martin are pretty good at reminding us. So thank you,
He also
Martin.
reminds
It,
us that it was invented by the Germans. He says in World War One to save on coal. I don't know if that's true, but
really?
is
Well,
that true? I don't. That feels like it's not true. Maybe it is though. I don't know. That's just a feeling I
I'm
have.
not
But
going to
Martin's usually
contest that.
right. It's he
Yeah,
says it's
yeah,
100% true. He wants to fight me now. He's probably got his fists
yeah.
up in the
Just for I'm siding with Martin on this one.
air. That's always a good call.
Yeah,
Always a good call.
make life easier, right? Um,
This rating looks like a girl, 33:52 right now. Dave, it's playing out in front of our
okay.
eyes here, and it's a 36:05. I mean, they're just
Uh,
dominating, it looks like, across
th-
that. But we're actually waiting for that time
but that's
from,
B2B,
yeah, Sox for Watts, Odd Sox is who we're waiting
right?
for, to
We'll see.
23:01
Yeah.
versus the 22:56.
So
So,
that was 5 seconds. See, this is where you think having 8 riders would be starting to pay off for you.
well, look at
Um,
Cassie at the front at
huh.
5.2 and Clark closing it down at 5.2. You're right. I think there is going to be a couple extra matches here in the
Can
legs
you
of
show me
these
the Sisu
ladies.
time? What was the Sisu time again at 24K there?
Yeah, sure. We'll bring it across.
34, even faster than that. 33:52. 33:52.
33.
Holy cow. Okay. Well, we will see. Boy, it's a tough one there. Do you go with the experience and horsepower that Sisu I race like a
Well,
girl
now
and
we're going to see how
factor
many
the
times you can
Kesslers and
jump across categories without everything going to mayhem. Is
oh
what we're going to
gosh.
see.
We're playing a dangerous game here.
We are
We're
playing a
in
dangerous game. I
the
want to see how organized though that team is at the moment. It's going to tell us a lot. Uh, and how many riders they have left, etc. Here. So we'll see if we can get across back over to Curry and crew in just a moment here to see how things are playing out. But this is really, I mean, talk about a monster team that showed up this week for the Odd
yeah.
Sox.
Yeah, this is another. I was talking about the franchise. We were talking about PO Auto earlier, and if you put together the list of 10 teams that have really stood out, and I guess I am talking about the very very high end out here, but this team Sox for Watts, which we're talking about, Sisu having 100 or 200 plus riders in the club. Well, I think that this team is pretty close to that as well. Cassie Baldy's been with the squad for a long time out here as she's driving hard. Team is welding it right back together here as it's going to be one of these kind of days where we find out who wants it more. Still waiting for that check. Now that's Sisu's 33:52. BBB, Nathan, they should be proud of a 34:30 sitting in second. And so still waiting here for that Sox for Watts. Odd Sox is the time that we're comparing and contrasting against
Blue
Sisu I
Jays
Race Like
though,
a Girl.
let's give the Blue Jays a little bit of a shout out here as they make their way around course. Great to see them. It's gonna be Cryogen 36-16 right now is what they're throwing down. So just want to make sure that they get. I mean, Cryogen's such a long-standing team, Dave, and this is for a while there. This was kind of the dominating brand with all of the different bird names across their entirety of their um,
They were
Zwift
one of the
racing team. They are still
one of
one
the
of the super
super
teams. I
teams.
mean, really, and it's great
Yeah.
to see them still pulling down some solid times here within the Platinum League.
Yeah. The Zed Sun comes to mind as a super team as well. Dirt is a super team. That's for sure. And Cryo is always
3406, Dave. 3406. 30. Oh, the separation is happening. Sisu race like a girl. It looks like they're making it happen.
not by a ton, but they're just prying the door open with a crowbar, aren't they? Talking about Sisu. They're not kicking it in, but they're just slowly just gonna rip it open, it looks like. And that speaks to the depth of experience that Sisu, and that Sox Sports doesn't have experience either. But that's a fun day. It really is out here. The 151st WTRL, that stands for World Tactical Racing League, and this is their signature event. This is really where esports, I think, they got some traction, to tell you the truth, Nathan, about 3 years ago when WTRL, there was 8 teams that showed up for that first team time trial, and it has grown logarithmically. This is Catherine Curie and Sisu, and they're down to less than, well, excuse me, a little more than 2K. 2.6K to go before this one is done and dusted out here for Sisu. I Race Like a Girl. They're trying to put the fastest team up on top of the table outright here, not just in their Vienna Espresso category.
This is actually really impressive that with 5 team members right now, how many did they show up with? 5. They've kept it all together all the way through. What an effort here coming in from this Sisu I Race Like a Girl team up against that Odd Sox who had 8. And those team members on that Odd Sox are no joke. I mean, it's a lot of top esports racers here. So
these ladies ought to be pretty used to racing. I mean, this is the Premier League setup, right? 5 riders. So they're pretty used to this.
I want to also highlight they're going to be coming into season 2. There was some discussion on some of the Twitch channels last night. A lot of people were doing the Tour of Utopia, and there was just a lot of chatter going on about the triathlon races that are starting up right now, and that's going to be their wheelhouse, right? These a lot of these riders here that are on Sisu,
more than most. Yeah, definitely more.
So perhaps some of that coming into play here as they're starting to get into peak form.
Yeah, I would say if Sisu is more of a boy, that's where it has a very strong triathlete influence. Let's put it that way. And there's so much crossover between triathlon and road racing and esports and all 3. So it kind of becomes an ecosystem. This is
look at the motivation in front of them. They're looking to catch BBE
doesn't hurt,
as well as WTRL that are up ahead of them at this point. I mean, what a dominating performance. 42:50. What's the time? Oh, it's just outside. 41:42 is the time that we were looking at from the Wonder Woman. So just going to be short here, it looks like. Wonder Woman,
even think maybe a couple of these women were on that Wonder Woman team.
I think they were. I actually think you're right.
So as we finish up the ladies here, I mean, you talk about every moment that you're not in perfect formation, you're giving up 100th of a second, and those all start to stack up. I saw a fascinating piece talking about in the time trial now, the team cars, Nathan, following behind the riders. They're finding out that has a much larger influence than people thought, which just speaks to me that aerodynamics are so huge out here. So what they're doing is putting more and more bikes and stacking bikes on top of the cars and pushing the cars as close as they can behind the rider, and it creates a better air pocket for the rider. It's a little bit faster. Yeah.
Huh.
Isn't that? So you look at the cars now. You like at first I was like, my God, why are they taking 8 bikes out for a team time trial? Right. Well, that's why.
It makes sense. Yeah. I mean,
you put a huge block through the wind back there, and it helps push the rider ahead of them. Then again, what you might say, what does that have to do with esports? Well, nothing except for it shows you how paramount aerodynamics are. Every little thing you're looking for out here. And that's equipment choices.
Get some time back. I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, 43, a little over 2.5 minutes is definitely going to be happening here between this section of course and the finish. I think that Sisu I Race Like a Girl just had a little bit more over the top, but the battle is still between these riders right now and the Team Italy Pink, but Team Italy Pink already being caught. So really the battle is for second place. B2B trying to chase them down. A lot of separation here at the top end of this Vienna Frappe though. So really B2B battling with Unicorns and ZU4R Girl, the team out of Norway that we were chatting about, as well as Coalition on the radar there up against Zed Sun Pluto and Crush Pod 2.
It's a precision day out here. This is Coalition, another team that's been coming on strong. You see the South African flag as we jump in with the last couple K for the ladies out here. Coalition Amathea, 36-36 was their 24K split, having them back in 8th, just in front of Crush Pod 2 at a 36-41. So that's pretty close, and they're only 10 seconds behind Said Sun R Pluto. So the top of the table, though, Cryogen, the Blue Jays, having a fantastic ride out here. Excuse me, though, that isn't the top of the table. These are teams finishing 36.05 for B2B. That's the fastest finishing time, just 6 seconds ahead of the aforementioned Blue Jays. But we've still got Sox Watts, Odd Sox out there. They're going to come across the line any moment, though, and post what's going to be a best in class time out here today.
I want to give a shout out to the Coalition Malthea team. Alexandra Diem, her second team at time trial, coming out of Germany. I think she did drop off, put a lot of effort in for the team early on because I believe this team started with 5. She was the one rider that hasn't made it to the Essies, but probably put in a big dig. Being only her second team time trial ever. Great job to her. Amy here, young, hammering away out of the UK, one of the more experienced riders. She's going to be her 14th, but I would think that it's going to be Barbie Brochu that is the most experienced rider here. She's got 64 team time trials under her belt prior to this one. Level 50 Zwifter, a veteran of Zwift, obviously. She's got 3 pages of races. And she's been doing this, it looks like, going all the way back to October 1st of 2017 that she's been Zwifting. So Barbie Brochu, great job to her out there. And she's coming out of Canada. I believe this is going to be the rider. She's got the most expensive setup, I think, when it comes to her Zwift setup, when it comes to bikes right now compared to the other riders on team. So great job here from her.
All right, so they've got so 30.6K, so inside of 1K to go as they make their way back to the finish line now.
Yeah, and our riders are just coming across the line here as they do finish up. We are going to start losing riders at this moment.
That's actually going to
the rest of the Vienna Frappe get to the line.
Well, we've got Saturday, Nathan, on our schedule here, which is not all that frequent for us, but we've got something really special coming up with the playoffs, the final race of the ZRL 21-22 Season 2, the last points race to look forward to, getting all the best teams from around the world, the best of the best to race together. There's got to be a lot of question marks in riders' minds, wondering how they're going to stack up against some of the legends that they've seen racing in the other divisions.
Great job to Coalition Amathea. A little bit of a kick to the line here, it looks like. A little highlight for them. Love to see them. And Coalition have actually been doing an amazing job with the chase race that they're also doing on Fridays. I've been taking a part of. Really enjoyable. They actually do their own broadcast with it, which is pretty cool to see.
Oh, wow.
That you can watch over. Check out their Twitch stream. They do a great job with that. And really a lot of hype around that team. Reese Howell does a great job with the organization of that team. And obviously, Canyon being the main push behind that, why they'd be riding a lot of the Canyon bikes in game. But yeah, the playoffs are coming, Dave. Playoffs are this weekend. Points racing is going to be the Focus Legends and Lava. I'm really excited for what we're going to be covering this weekend. Men's and women's playoffs for the Zwift Racing League. Saturday, we will be live here. If you haven't checked that out, make sure to hit your reminder buttons. It is up on our YouTube channel to go ahead and hit that little bell notification to get your reminder when we do go live, or just hit the notification on YouTube right now to say, hey, give me a notification anytime that this does go live, and subscribe because you will get those notifications. Playoffs, I'm not going to ask you about your picks. We'll do that prior to that. We've got a lot coming up for the playoffs. A lot of fun, as well as a lot of look forward to the Zwift Racing League Season 3. It's a show that you're not going to want to miss. We did a little post about it actually over on Facebook. Got all the talents and productions together and said, okay, what are we going to do for this season 3? What are we going to do for the playoffs this weekend? So we're really excited to bring you an awesome show for that and really celebrate what the Zwift Racing League is all about, Dave. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. I mean, it's 20,000 of the coolest people you ever want to meet out there racing at all of the different levels. And we have so many things that we're looking forward to as well. So, yeah, come join us. And these riders really have worked hard. It's been a couple of months of racing to get to this point. So, I mean, you've already, actually, if you're in this race on Saturday, you've already arrived at a very high level. So you're kind of playing with the house's money at this point. So enjoy yourself, have a great race, and we'll look forward to covering it. That's for sure.
All right, let's go ahead and get a look at the results out here today. It looks like most of our teams have finished up out here. One rider I do want to highlight really quickly, as I did find her just now from the Owls. Elaine Montoya hanging out.
Elaine Montoya.
Yeah, she's hanging out on course. It looks like I did go look and see if I could find her team. But perhaps she has finished and is just doing her cool down, perhaps. But a big shout out to the Owl team. We'll see what their result was out there today. But Elaine, if you didn't know, they're the ones who put our stingers together. And I really wanted to highlight and say a big thank you to them for everything that they do for the WTRL TTT.
Yeah, the stinger is that little video clip that you see at the beginning of the broadcast that actually it's one of the coolest little elements that we've been able to add. So thanks a lot, Elaine.
Yeah, shout out to the Owls. And that is
Older women in Lycra.
Everyone on that team now, and they highlight that. They promote it, everybody. That's
their jam.
Thing. That's their jam. Yeah. Exactly. So great to see them out here. And what a team to aspire to for all of us. I mean, for sure. Now let's go ahead and jump on in with the men first. And then we'll jump in with the ladies, only because some of the ladies might still be out on course.
It's a good point, Nathan. If you survived to be called older, you've done something right. You're still alive, right?
Sorry, Snow Pins, job. Week after week, Dave. Just keep showing up. And I did see
Watch out for Mute. Oh, this Mute next team.
Where did they come from? Like who?
Yeah, I'm going to do some research, find out who makes up that team, because obviously there's some heavy hitters there. Sarah Snowpins has been the class of the league. No doubt they've come out so strong. So it's a 39.02 for Sarah's taking the win. Excuse me, fastest time at the moment. It's a little bit different than your standard results board because there's still teams that will be racing in time zones. I think zone 11 probably wrapping up right about now. We go all the way to 19 over the next 6 hours or so. So Mute next second, silver medal at the moment with a 39.28, 39.44 for CryoGen Gulls in at the bronze spot. As it stands, we've got Down and Dirty Vipers with a 39.51. I mean, that's a solid ride there. At 48 seconds back from Sarah Snowpins, that's a win in its own right.
I want to give a shout out to Trim Olsen. He was in the YouTube chat asking for some shots of Mutant X. We're looking to try and find you out there. You are a new team. Nice job so far holding down that second place. Obviously super excited about the TTT. So great job to Mutant X challenging one of the fastest teams we've ever seen to do a team time trial. No new course records, though, which is maybe telling to Pack Dynamics or perhaps to the level of play. I think it's Pack Dynamics. Sorry, Snowpins, they're no joke. But at the top, Smurfs Fray, they've been doing it week after week, and they do it again so far, 39.34. Dirt Time Chaser, Zetas with the second there, 22 seconds back. Innovation Euro Aliens 2, followed up by Espresso in fourth. PTZ El Quibbler there for fifth. It's going to be HDR Cheesecake Crew coming on in for sixth. It's going to be Jet Racing Team Daimios in seventh. TSC Tutti Frutti keeping it sweet in eighth. It's going to be Dirt Diggler in ninth, and Eat Dirt 007 right on target for 10th.
Tutti Frutti is the best candy out of Sweden. All right, Vikings Jormungandr taking a 41-42 to the bank. That is 2.9 seconds quicker than the RR Rapid Rhinos. Oh, what a day. 4 teams within 10 seconds, including, okay, I'll get to them in just a second. So RR Rapid Rhinos in with the second quickest time. Schmerzfrey Frappe in at third. Mercy ZRG Cramp. Guys, we will definitely be telling your stories soon. I'm a big fan of what this team is doing out here. And so Neil Oakes and company, these are the medical professionals who've been so incredibly busy, and they've been squeezing in some quality training time. They were within 10 seconds, and guys, we'll get you. Promise. TSC Waffles in at 5th. NZ Bro Pawaka Waka 6th. Dirty Rascals Rip Snorters 7th quickest time for the Frappes. Garage Pain Chasers, the GPC in at 8th as it stands. WLBB Frappe in at 9th. And ZR Scott Kelpies. So that's your 10th fastest time as we wrap up Platinum League here for the Frappes.
Woolly Rhinos with a 43-13. I saw some chatter coming in, actually, from the Woolly Rhinos. They did not take down the old school Viking Valhalla time that was a 43:04, but they did hold on to the fastest time so far on the day, taking down the Alpentrotter Latte by 15 seconds. Vikings Valhalla, they hold on for third. It's going to be ATP Racing Nitrogen coming on through for 4:30 seconds back. And then Vikings Mjolnir there, 54.603 for 5th place right now in the Platinum League. Team ODZ Destroyer Cookies coming out of Zone 8. They hold down 6. WLBB Latte in for 7th place there. It's going to be NZ Bro Mutton Birds in 8th. It's going to be Virtual Slow Destroyed in for 9th. And TSC Mazarin, they are in 10th place. Platinum League 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But a lot of those other zones starting to jump into the top 10 right now. And perhaps jumping into Platinum League for next week. In with the Mochas on the men's side.
All right, let's go right to the top, and no surprise to see it's the Rhinos with a dominating ride. They were galloping to a 48:34 Platinum League's top time. It was Zone 10 there for ART Team Krypton. Great job, guys. Silver spot right now. They were 42 seconds out. Then you've got Zert Charlie in with the 3rd quickest time. 4th place right now is Trek Dodu Watt Bros JZQC in 4th. TT1 Gluconauts, that's Team Type 1 in 5th. ZU4RARN in 6th. Zed Sun R Nebula 7th. TFC Hurricane 8th. Two guys Pampilho in 9th. And very Portuguese sounding, and HISP Mocha. That's your 10 fastest times right now out of the Mochas.
And back in with Sisu, I raced like a girl, and the Vienna Espressos taking it down, followed up by 58 seconds by BBB. Sisu, I raced like a girl, really showing up today, having a really good ride. The separation there, I think a little bit more than usual in the last couple of weeks, so I think they are coming on form for some stuff in this maybe outdoor season. We'll see. TSC Cinnamon Rolls there, 114, though back for 3rd place. NZ Bro Pavlova's in 4th. It's going to be Crush Pod Avocados in for 5th. WTRL What's Up on Fire, 156 back for 6th. Wahoo Lacole at 12th. Now that's interesting. Wahoo Lacole usually really battling for a top spot in Zone 9 there in 7th, so 2 minutes back. Rave On then, Platinum League there for 8th, and TFC Vixen, they're in 10th, 9th, 309 back, coming out of Zone 10, that is. So a lot of Zone 10 just finishing up most likely.
All right, let's take a look then at our Vienna Frappes with Socks for Watts Odd Socks on top of the table with the 44.05. It was what a ride from them today. As it was Team Italy Pink Ladies with the 2nd quickest time, and you can see every time came out of Platinum here except for 10th. So Platinum League has Cryogen Blue Jays in with the 3rd quickest time. B2B 4th. Sox Watts Aero Unicorns in at 5th. Zed Sun R Pluto 6th. ZU4R Girl in 7th. Coalition Amalthea in 8th. Crush Pod 2 9th. Then Aforementioned Team Swedish Zwifters Sticky Buns there, racing in zone 10, just finished with the 10th quickest time. That's the Vienna Frappes.
Galaxy Supernova Velocity 46:46. Wow, solid time by them. Really walking away this week. Electric Spirit Company Cosmonaut there for second. Galaxy Supernova Surge showing up for the first time in with the Platinum League, I believe, and they hold down the third place, or at least they were the first to go out, and they end up in third right now with a few, some zones to go still, but really solid ride there from that Surge. NZ Bro Ghost Chops coming in through for fourth there. It's going to be Rave Against the Machine. 213 back, holding down fifth. Hertford Triathlon Club Vixens there for sixth. ZR Scott Elba in seventh. R3R Bewitched in eighth. Angular Momentum held up by WTRL. What's up, C? That's 10th place right now. 356 back. And last but not least, the Viennas.
All right, let's look at the top, and it's Kirkmeyer, Team B's. Congratulations, as this is a 49:44 posting up. Owl Bike in for the second quickest time. This is all out of the Platinum League here at the 5017. 5040 is the third quickest ride today so far from Virtue Slow Pink. In fourth is Zed Sonar Hydra. Fifth is ART, the Atom Racing Team Electrons. RC Feel Orebulinas in sixth. Eva Meteor, seventh. ZR Scott Aria in eighth. Rockies ninth. And Revo Duvels. That's your top 10 times so far here on the 151st consecutive WTRL Teams Time Trial. Next week, Nathan, looks like we're heading back to Richmond UCI World's Reverse Course. That one's a brute.
Is that right? Oh.
That's
my
complete
goodness.
opposite of today.
Yeah,
then.
Totally opposite. 32.6, 20.3 miles. Just to make sure I'm not getting any messages coming through. But yeah, it looks like that's what's happening. Nice job. Newt Borgsberg is saying ZU4R as in suffer is what he's saying over on the YouTube channel.
Oh, sure.
They like to suffer is what
like
they're
Legion.
talking about there. Like Legion, exactly.
Like the way, right.
Exactly. So, well, that's going to be
cool.
it for us here for 151. Next broadcast that's going to be coming at you is going to be next week for the playoff, or not next week, on Saturday, 2 days. Me and Dave will be here for the playoffs with a little bit of extra sparkle coming in from the rest of the talents, as well as some maybe new names in and amongst the crew here for some added highlights that I'm really excited about. So make sure to tune in for that. Hit those follow buttons. Head on over to WTRL.racing for the rest of the results. As some more results will be coming in throughout the rest of the evening for those other zones jumping in. This is the Platinum League. Been really fun. Dave, playoffs hype is probably on everybody's mind, as well as Season 3. Season 3 kicks off April 5th. So looking forward to that. Looks like some really interesting courses coming up. And I think a lot of teams, a lot of drafting, as well as organization going on to focus in on the community. I think there's some new stuff happening here.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot to look forward to, that's for sure. And certainly, I cannot wait to be back with you on Saturday. This is going to be absolutely awesome. For great racing today, everybody. Thank you.
All right, thanks, everybody. We'll see you Saturday, and always, right on. Thank you.